We're going to call a meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Play ball. Can you call the roll, please?
Member Steele is absent. Member Lionel. Here. Member Frederick. Here. Member Billsborough.
Here.
Member Holbrook.
Here.
Member Dean. Here. Member Lake.
Here. Thank you very much. Next we have presentations and building program highlights, Branch ISD 2025-2026 budget presentation via Superintendent Chris Jenkins and Business Manager Emily Jones. You're up.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having us here tonight. My name is Chris Jenkins. I've been the superintendent at Branch ISD for 7 years, and it has been a distinct honor and pleasure to serve Branch County, the schools, and the students, so thank you. I do have Darren Adair here with me tonight. He hasn't signed the paperwork yet, but the board chose him as the next superintendent, and I'm proud to have him be the next superintendent. He's going to do a great job. Also, Emily Jones, this is her first year as the Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Operations, but I think you did come to a couple of these last year, so you kind of know what's going on. So just as a reminder, the role of the intermediate school district is to serve the local schools. At Branch ISD, we strive to be a good partner with our local schools, promoting equitable education for all students and providing services to our districts to the best of our abilities. Here in Branch County, we do that through career and technical education, special education, adult education, and early childhood education. And Emily will be presenting all of our budgets to you today. We have 3 different budgets, but as a reminder, you only have to vote on the general fund budget. That's the vote that will be taken. And if you have any questions tonight or in the future, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. If you don't know the answers right away, we'll dig for the answers and get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you, Emily.
Good evening, and thank you for having us. So I have a presentation to go through, and I believe you've all received a copy of that. So we'll talk through that as we go through the actual budget here. Some budget assumptions that were used for revenue for all funds. At the time that the preliminary budget was created, we maintained the revenue that we received in 24-25. So we, for our property tax levy, we carried over the property tax levy from 24-25 into 25-26 and used those figures for our property tax revenue. And we also maintained state aid funding and federal funding from the levels we received in 24-25 as well. We did reduce our interest revenue by 25% just due to a reduction in interest rates that we received from our investment, different investments that we have. And then we also reduced some of the state categoricals that we received too, and a lot of those are one-time funding type grants that we received through the state, so those were reduced as well. The majority of all of our other revenue was maintained from the current levels that we received in 24-25. Some budget assumptions that we used across all funds for salary and benefits are the fact that the district is currently in negotiations with our bargaining unit BIO, much like you guys probably use MEA for your bargaining units. Ours are unaffiliated and they're called BIO. So because we're still in negotiations there, I utilized a 2% assumption for increases for salary, excuse me, and then also any staff who are eligible for steps or lanes received those as well in the budget. I used a retirement rate of 29.91%. That is a decrease of 1.45% from the current year's retirement rates, and then a UAL rate of 15.02%, which is actually an increase of 4.44% from the current rates. Branch ISD uses the state hard cap levels for insurance contributions under PA 152 And that insurance cost will see an increase of 2.9%. So that's what was utilized in our insurance costs for the upcoming year. Specifically for the general fund, the items listed here give you an idea of what costs are allocated to the different programs within the actual budget here. So under basic programs, that's where we would allocate costs for our GSRP programs throughout the county. Adult and continuing education would be for our adult ed programs and our GED programs. Pupil services would be truancy services in 31 Ed administration. So that is a mental health grant that we receive through the state of Michigan. And then the local districts hire mental health workers. And so Branch ISD has a coordinator who oversees that and assists those mental health workers within the districts. And so the cost for that staff member falls under pupil services. Instructional staff services in the general fund would be supports through Calhoun ISD for instructional programming, professional development offerings, as well as supports for superintendents as well. GSRP, Adult Ed, McKinney-Vento homeless grants are all grants that are coordinated through Branch ISD, and that cost for the coordination of those staff falls under that area as well as the early literacy coaches. General administration would be costs for the Board of Education and superintendent, and business services would be the finance department costs for the general fund. Maintenance and operations would be custodial services as well as rental and operation costs for our early education programs throughout the county. Pupil transportation in the general fund would be the cost to transport preschool students throughout the county. Central services would be technology services for the general fund, and pupil accounting services through Calhoun ISD. Community services is our Head Start and Early Head Start programs, as well as some other community service programs through early education grants that we receive. 31N6 payments to LEAs under payments to other government agencies. LEAs is local education agencies, and that is essentially Coldwater Community Schools, your local school district, and often referred to as an LEA at the ISD level. 31N6 is that mental health grant where the district allocates costs to that we use to reimburse Coldwater Community Schools for your mental health staff under that grant program. Other financing use. Our early education program has multi-year lease agreements at Brunson and in Girard. In those, when we utilize a multi-year agreement, we are required under GASB 87 to recognize the full cost of that agreement, both as an expense as a revenue in that initial year of that agreement. So that's why that's included there. Outgoing transfers would be any excess costs for the school nutrition program for our preschool program. So we provide breakfast, lunch, and snack to our preschool programs. However, the claims we receive don't necessarily cover the costs, so we allocate those to the grants, the GSRP and Head Start. So that's what those costs are. For the special education fund, added needs would be the classroom programming within the locals for your resource room, the MOSI, the MICE programs, to the early childhood special education programs at Lincoln Learning Center, to our programs at Waldron Learning Center. So those classroom programmings fall under added needs. Pupil services would be the itinerant staff, so the school psychologists, social workers, OT, PT, all those extra resources provided for those students fall under the pupil services. Instructional staff services is program administration and oversight of those special ed programs. General administration would be Any legal services and audit costs for the special education fund. Maintenance and operations would be maintenance and custodial services for our Waldron Learning Center, and then any rental or operation costs in the local schools for the special education programs contained within those districts. Pupil transportation, Branch ISD reimburses Coldwater Community Schools for anything in excess that you're not reimbursed for the special ed bus monitors, as well as a Medicaid transportation reimbursement as well. Technology services falls under central services. Community services is a proportionate share requirement for our federal IDEA grants. So we received 2 grants, flow through in preschool, that require us to allocate a portion of that funding to non-public school students. So students with IEPs in parochial or homeschool, or students of the like, would receive special ed services, and costs for that fall under payment or community services there. Payments to other government agencies would be payments for tuition for Michigan School of the Deaf for a student who attends that program in Flint. Outgoing transfers would be a transfer to the voc ed department, because the special ed program uses a piece of the Career Center for staff to be housed there, and so we transfer the cost of that back to the voc ed program, as well as a portion of the superintendent costs are allocated to special ed, and a transfer to the special ed capital projects. For the voc ed fund, added needs for voc ed include the CTE programs that are housed at the Career Center. Pupil services would be guidance services at the Career Center, as well as the early middle college coordinator. Instructional staff services is program administration and oversight of those CTE programs. General administration, again, would be legal services and audit costs for the voc ed program. In finance department for business services. Maintenance and operations would be the maintenance and custodial services that are incurred at the Career Center. Pupil transportation, the Branch ISD reimburses districts for transportation costs. We reimburse local branch county districts for transportation costs to the Career Center in any field trips as well. So we will often send different grade levels to visit as well, so we reimburse those. Technology services for voc ed department under central services. Other finance use is a payment for a QZAP bond. Branch ISD used a energy bond in 2018-19 school year for some energy enhancements to update lighting and a boiler and of those sorts. So that is where the payment for that bond is included. Outgoing transfers for voc ed include a portion of the superintendent costs, and then a transfer to the capital projects fund for voc ed as well. All that being said, these are the fund balance estimates based on the budget, the preliminary budgets presented. So the estimated fund balance on July 1 for each fund is the estimate used in the November revision that was approved by the board in November 2024. The revenue and expenditures listed here are what are contained within the budgets presented to give us an ending fund balance for each fund, and then a fund balance percent for each one as a percent of the expenditures.
Emily,
Yes.
which positions in special ed are contracted out?
We contract out some speech therapy services, and we have a school psych position as well that is contracted. We utilize Hillsdale ISD for visual impairment.
For
impairment.
HI.
Hearing impairment.
Okay.
And
OT through the hospital?
Not anymore.
Okay.
No, when they were getting ready to switch hands, they contacted me and said, you know, Coda ought to find some, so we were lucky enough to hire an OT and a PT to get on staff now. Yeah.
and that's it.
And it kept, yeah, I mean, we do provide some VI to Calhoun, and we get some assistive tech from them. So we do have an agreement with them.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
You're waiting for a question?
No, I'm good.
What's the plan for the 80% fund balance in the vocational ed?
My answer?
It's gonna be to you.
My answer? Yeah, so ISDs are a little bit unique from local districts because we don't have the opportunity to go for a sinking fund. So it's extremely important for our programs because we're servicing the entire county to make sure and have a very stable fund equity. Not only to make sure consistency of services throughout the county to all districts, but also, you know, any building repairs, any operational cost. I mean, in Career Center, you really want to be cutting edge, best, innovative equipment. So that 80% fund equity is important. Building, you know, additions that we encounter. So we can't go for a sinking fund if we have problems or if we want to do any, you know, additions. So that's a little bit of the difference. Same with the special ed. I don't know if you remember, but like about 10 years ago, right before I came here, even though you can see the special ed budget's doing decent now with the 25%, when I first walked in the door, we didn't have enough money to make it to pay payroll for staffing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on any of that, but to pay, you know, the salaries of everyone. Before we got to the time that we got our property tax revenues. So we had to go to the local, I think it was Century Bank at the time, and borrow money from them to make payroll. So another very important reason that ISDs and the different departments have a bigger fund equity to cover that kind of stuff.
So, to add to his answer, we do have an entryway project going on at the Career Center right now. We just did demolition, went through demolition with that. The tile was original, it's kind of a add-on to the projects we've started. We do have an HVAC project that we need to look at. Our air pressure in the welding and machining lab is horrific. It's a huge safety issue. We have to have the door open in the back to make sure the pressure literally doesn't take a finger off in the door because the door closes so hard. So we have, and that probably would be close to $1 million. And then always looking at new programming. We have to replace all the carpeting in the building and just, you know, the upkeep. So we do have plans to spend that money down to keep the building up to the level and to the standard that the county would like, so.
It appears that you get enough money to maintain your fund balance at 80% for probably the last 20 years.
Yeah, probably, and also, we've had Headley rollbacks for the 7 years I've been here. So that tax rate is going down every year, but I mean, it's a good and bad thing because it means that property value is going up and we're getting more money, but then our tax rate is rolling back, which Emily showed, and we did have another Headley rollback this year. So the tax rate is going down. We hope it levels off.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I guess the Coldwater Community Schools,
Yes.
the board,
Thank you.
would like to congratulate you on your assistance with our district for so many years.
Thank you. I appreciate
And
it.
I'm hoping
Thank you.
that under new leadership, maybe we get more money.
I hope you do too.
You know what they say, wish it on hand.
But thank you.
I wish we could. We can't even, I can't even get Dustin to share with me. We can't commingle funds, so we have to we can't even share, unfortunately.
But congratulations on your retirement.
You don't need to stay unless you're just dying to hear this.
Well, we're gonna go to Quincy and present at the Quincy board meeting, so.
I hope theirs isn't as big as ours.
I'm
We'll let you know if it is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Next we have the Coldwater High School Cardinal Academy presentation.
All right, so in the fall, I presented to you on our plans to implement Cardinal Academy, which is an alternative education school within a school housed at CHS. And I just wanted to give you some updates, but just some quick reminders. Alternative education is an alternative program. It operates as a subdivision of Coldwater High School, and it's designed to serve, to better serve our alternative ed students. And really what it does is it provides a flexible environment and alternative structure of instruction that's through online and the support of our Cardinal Academy teacher, Janice Grabowski. It's just different from the usual or conventional way of teaching. What it offers is an individualized learning for students. It's a calm, it's a comfort environment for them. We offer flexible scheduling, so some students start at 7:40, some start at 10, some leave at noon, some leave at 1, some come Monday, Wednesday, Friday, some come just on Fridays, to help them find success with whatever's going on in their outside of school lives. We have a social and emotional support system with our school psychologist that comes in and works not only one-on-one, but in a group setting for our Cardinal Academy. And then they also have the opportunity to learn to give back to the community. Janice plans community service activities for them in and out of the school building as well. And then we also have opportunities for community-based instruction. We'll show you later on where Southern Michigan Bank and Trust came and gave a financial literacy unit to the class. So these students that don't typically have those skills, we're building just a bigger toolbox for them to have success when they leave us. So when we said at the beginning, what will make Cardinal Academy students successful, these are all the things that we've put into play in hopes that our students will find success. And what I wanted to do today is come back to you and share with what Janice has done with our students in this program and how it's grown. So let's get some of the facts. So all students are considered at risk for one reason or another. It can be none of these students qualify for special ed, but they need something more than we can give them in the general ed setting. Whether it's academic support, behavioral support, or just their social emotional needs that are putting them at risk for not graduating. And everybody who was put in there was on the track to not graduate Coldwater High School. So Cardinal Academy spends the majority of their day in the Cardinal Academy classroom, but students are being able to earn opportunities to attend BACC when appropriate, to attend general ed classes. Some of our students take 1 or 2 classes outside of the Cardinal Academy room through the day. We let them do the 18s, the required 18 credits for state to graduate, and it gives them just a more tailored set of education plans to get them to graduation. So here's some statistics, and when I read these off, it sounds like I'm doing great things, but really, this is Janice. Janice came to us from the ISD, and she's been amazing. So we started the school year off, I identified 15 students, and I said, Janice, these are the 15, good luck, do what you can. It grew to 26, so when you think of 26, it doesn't sound like a lot in a classroom, but if you know what alternative ed students, and you put 26, all the administrators are shaking their head. If you put 26 in one room, you're thinking you're waiting for a ticking time bomb. That's not the case. Janice and Annie, and our partnership, the three of us, and really Janice has grown this to where these students get along. It's a community in there. It's very cool to see. So out of those 26, now remember, some came in mid-year, 17 of them got completely caught up to grade level. So we're talking about seniors that went in with freshman credits. We've talked about putting juniors in with 0 credits. When I say Janice works her rear end off getting these kids up, I'm not kidding, because these are kids that hate school, or for whatever reason outside of life can't get to school, they struggle. 4 students that were not going to graduate at the beginning of the year, I basically told her, like, your goal is to get them caught up, let's try a 13th year. She got them to graduate this year. 92% of students in Cardinal Academy have passed classes, earned credits towards their high school diploma, and out of this group of 26 students, they've completed 236 classes through our Edgenuity portal this year in the classroom. The good news of this, our goal is for them to try to get them to acclimate back into regular classes. 6 of our students will be returning to the regular education classrooms this next fall. So she has they've either grown in their social emotional needs, their behavior needs, or their academics, that they feel success, and they're going to be in regular classes, changing the hours just like everyone else this fall. And in addition to that, 5 other ones have now caught up, have met the requirements of behavior and academics, and will be attending BACC for half days to get some skills. And again, 4 of them have graduated. So out of this, we worked through, talked about moving 6, putting some in, moving kids around. And so this year, we'll be starting Cardinal Academy with 16 students. But we have at the high school what's called an at-risk team, which evaluates students every Monday that people, the staff can recommend to us. We talk to them, and that's how they make their way into the Cardinal Academy program through a team decision, what's called our ART team. So just some statistics here. Disciplinary, we're looking at just the Cardinal Academy students. Their accumulative discipline prior to coming into Cardinal Academy was 578 write-ups. These students collectively got that trophy of 578, but if you do the math this year, they've had 32. So putting them in an environment so they can succeed in their own already shows you that when you think of not only their success, but 578 write-ups in the general ed setting that's disrupting education, to down to these 32 are just in that classroom, and not 578 going off inside of the school, which is a huge deal. So just taking a quick look at the classroom, what we have provided, or Janice really, because she's went out and gotten money from people, and they have the seating, they have couches, they have a ping pong table, they have kind of like a little coffee bar, so it's a good place to stop in if you ever just want a tour, there's free coffee. And that's what the classroom looks like. It's down by the band and choir room, just past the art room on your way down there. They have additional workspaces, comfortable seating. She tracks their daily achievements and really sets goals for them to recognize all the great things that they do in the classroom. And it's for them, they're starting to feel success finally in the school setting. So again, this is just our mission. Our mission at Cardinal Academy is to provide a personalized, supportive learning environment for students facing challenges in traditional classrooms. Through tailored curriculum, social and emotional support, and a commitment to individual growth, we empower students to graduate with confidence to prepare for a future of academic and personal success. She puts my name on here, but it's really all Janice Grabowski's. I just help when she asks. And this is in her room, and it's super important, I feel. It says, you belong here, and she really lives by fair isn't everyone getting the same thing, fair is everyone getting what they need to be successful. So that is Cardinal Academy, and if you could recognize Janice for all of her hard work. Any questions about Cardinal Academy at CHS? Sorry I tried to go fast.
So is the ultimate goal then to get students back into mainstream classes, or?
Depends on the student, right? So if we are finding kids that are making lots of success in this program, but we know the anxiety level of going into the regular setting is not going to work for them, we're not going to put them back into fail just to pull them back out again. These are kids that are trying to earn their way. The kids that are going back in want to go back in. They finally have the skills that we feel like they're going to be successful to go back. There are some that still want to go back that are not there yet. So yes and no.
Yeah.
Depends on the student. When we say it's tailored to them, it really is.
Very nice presentation.
Yeah, great job.
That data about referrals, excuse me, I'm
No,
sorry,
I said it.
is awesome. That's the hardest thing to achieve.
And so this is really, like when you think of discipline referrals, this is kids finally feeling they belong. Kids who are acting out really are needing something. And when you can decrease it, be fulfilled with something they need.
Nice work.
Thank you. You can escape if you want.
Well, you've done a fine job with a very valuable program for these students that were failing, so congratulations. Next, request for public participation. Anybody wish to address the board? Goodbye. Visitors, delegations, communications. Approval of the minutes from April 28, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Sport.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, are there any additions or deletions?
There are some additions or amendments to the personnel report. You'll have an amended personnel report that we are adding Caitlin Pertner as a summer school teacher at Jefferson Elementary pending Michigan certification and background check. Adding Aaron O'Connor as a substitute teacher for Jefferson Summer School. And rescinding Mirka Nieves Solis acceptance of the math teaching position at CHS effective immediately.
All right, thank you. Next, we have the consent agenda, no communications. Personnel recommendations.
Personnel recommendations. Be it resolved that relative to certified staff recommendations, the Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ Reagan Price for the first grade teaching position at Max Larson Elementary effective the 25-26 school year, pending background check. The Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ Caitlin Pertner for the third grade teaching position at Jefferson Elementary effective 25-26 school year, pending background check and Michigan teaching certification. The Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ the following individuals for the Lakeland Elementary Summer School Program: Brandon Coates, lead teacher; Krista Dybert, teacher; Amber Coleman, teacher; Kelly Murphy, teacher; Elena Sisfransky, teacher; Rebecca Thompson, sub-teacher; Courtney Coates, sub-teacher; Allison Walensky, paraprofessional; and Brenda Fowler, secretary. The Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ the following individuals for the Max Larson Summer School Program: Courtney Coates, sub-teacher; and Kirsten Dancer, secretary. The Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ the following individuals for the Jefferson Elementary Summer School Program: Caitlin Pertner, teacher, pending Michigan certification and background check; and Aaron O'Connor, sub-teacher. The Board of Education accept with regret the rescinded acceptance of Mirka Nieves Solis from the CHS math teaching position effective immediately. Relative to support staff recommendations, the Board of Education accept with regret the resignation of Adil Nasser from the ELL support personnel position at Lakeland Elementary, effective at the end of the school day on May 30th, 2025. The Board of Education accept with regret the resignation of Iman Shaiban from the part-time lunchroom supervisor position at Lake Middle School, effective the end of the school day, May 30th, 2025. And the Board of Education approved the administrative recommendation to employ Jessica Rasmussen for the part-time lunchroom supervisor position at Lake Middle School effective the 25-26 school year.
Thank you very much. Next, we have the approval of the April accounts for payment and financial statements as submitted. Ms. Fairway.
Be it resolved that the following accounts for April be approved for payment as follows. General fund accounts in the amount of $2,091,211.38. Special revenue accounts in the amount of $228,994.48. And be it resolved that the general fund financial statements be approved as presented.
Thank you. Next, we have the acceptance and approval of gifts via member Holbrook.
Recently, the administration was made aware of the following gifts offered by donors listed below. Recognition and approval of acceptance of gifts are being sought. Coldwater Kiwanis Club, monetary funds for the 2025-2026 Back to School Assembly to Max Larson Elementary, $800. Coldwater Sunrise Rotary, monetary funds for the ABC Challenge to CHS Interact Club, $1,000. Farm Bureau Charitable Fund, Tracy Neely Agency, Automated External Defibrillator, CCS Athletics, no value listed. Coldwater River Solar, Heritage Park Tree Planting Grant, monetary funds, Brian Pritchard, LMS, $5,000. The gracious and continued support of the donors listed above is sincerely appreciated. We ask the board accept the gifts noted to acknowledge the donors' generosity. Be it resolved, the Board of Education gratefully accepts the gifts as presented, and be it further resolved that a letter of appreciation on behalf of the board be sent to the donors indicated above as worthwhile and generous gifts.
Thank you very much. That is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have reports, presentations, recommendations. We have the building reports. They were included in your packet. Do the principals have anything they would love to add? No. I would like to just give thanks to all the board members who could join us last night for joining us at graduation. That was appreciated. And Dr. Lake, you did an excellent job of handing out diplomas and certifying the graduating class. Thank you.
You must not have been talking to Mr. Farmer, because he said I kept moving farther and farther away from him, that he had to keep moving farther and farther to catch up with me. Thank you.
I figured he was just making me get my steps in. Just look that way.
The Director of Curriculum Report, Mr. Dancer, have you got anything you would like to address?
Out at this time.
What's happened to your shoes?
Shoes are great.
They have no color.
Not today.
Board committee, we didn't have any committee.
We did not.
And the superintendent's report.
So in front of you is the superintendent's report. It's a little short this month, but packed with good information. The first one refers to this colorful sheet that you were given. TMP, our architect firm, and I met virtually today to talk about the bond formation plan, which is what this is called. It's basically a timeline for where we need to be per month or a group of months within the next 12 months as we're going for a May of 2026 election, hopefully for a bond. If you look at the far left under discovery, it says determine the district strategy and finalize the schedule. But the next two blue, and that's ongoing conversation, but the next two are the facility condition assessment and the program assessment, and those two assessments have recently been done. The facilities condition assessment was 2 walkthroughs, physical walkthroughs of the building by the architects, the second being just last Friday, and they got done 4:30ish just last Friday. So they are working on their facility condition assessment report for us. And then the program assessment was a meeting with the architect, myself, Dr. Hope, and some of the administration and teacher leaders from the high school to talk about how teaching spaces and how better to improve our teaching spaces for our staff. That report will also be done by the end of this month, they hope. And then Dr. Hope and I and the architect will be meeting with the high school staff on the 27th. Next Tuesday, in order to go over this program or bond formation plan and get some feedback from the high school staff as well and answer any questions. So when I get those reports back from the architect, I'll immediately share those with you board members. Graduation week, I'll just echo it again, was wonderful. All of the events for the kids really makes it's a lot more special than just one day. So I want to give accolades to the high school, not just Dr. Hope and Mr. Shirk, but the entire staff there for making it special for kids. High school program of studies note, last month you were asked to approve changes to the high school program of study, and there was a mistake that was made in there, so I've given you a copy of the corrected language that talks about academic letters and senior scholars for your information. There was no need to go back and reapprove it with board approval because the plan was already there. It was just one of you keen eyes, or more than one of you keen eyes, found a mistake in there, and we appreciate that being brought to our attention. And then high reliability schools update. This year we began the framework, and our principals took on the challenge, and I'm proud to say that completion of level 1, which is safe, supportive, and collaborative. Thank you. Safe, supportive, and collaborative culture inside the building. And Jefferson Elementary has received their level 1 certification, Max Larson, Lakeland, and the middle school have all submitted their required components for level 1 certification and hope to hear back from the committee by the end of the school year. And high school continues to work on those steps and isn't far behind. So just an update about high reliability schools. Because the next step, or level 2, talks about effective instruction. So we'll be looking forward to working on that next year.
Does Mrs. Reardon get a bonus for any reason or not?
We gave a big round of applause when I went and presented the certification to her staff last week.
Was that
And we
sufficient?
celebrated.
A big round of applause.
It's not a race to get there first, it's to do it right. Correct, Mrs. Reardon?
Correct. Dr. Lake, you can give me a bonus. I'm not opposed.
I think I'm restricted from monetary gifts to employees. I mean, how would it look? You know? People would think there's,
right now.
people would think there's something going on between the schools. Discussion items? No. Action items. We have the recommendation to approve the Branch ISD 2025-2026 budget. Be it resolved that the Coldwater Schools Board of Education has received and reviewed the Branch Intermediate School District's 2025-2026 proposed budget, and be it finally resolved that the Coldwater Schools Board of Education supports the resolution outlining the proposed Intermediate School District's 2025-2026 budget as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
There was a second in there somewhere, maybe.
Okay, there you go. Whichever.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Member Holbrook.
Yes.
Member Steele is absent. Member Dean.
Yes.
Member Billsborough.
Yes.
Member Lyon Welch.
Yes.
Member Frederick.
Yes.
Member Lake.
Yes, motion passes. Next, we have the board resolution designating the elector and alternate elector for the BISD biennial election and giving direction for voting on behalf of Coldwater School Board. They only have 2 candidates
Correct.
for 2 positions.
Correct.
Didn't we do this at the last meeting?
When we picked you the last meeting,
No.
now we're picking the people we're gonna vote for.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Be it resolved that the Coldwater Community Schools Board of Education approves the resolution designating district selection representative and designates member Claire Dean as the representative and member Kristen Lyon Welch as the alternate representative. Be it further resolved that the representative and alternate is directed to cast their vote on behalf of the board for John Bolton of Coldwater and Chantel Paxton of Quincy. Is there a motion?
So moved. Support.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Member Lyon Welch.
Yes.
Member Frederick.
Yes.
Member Billsborough.
Yes.
Member Holbrook.
Yes.
Member Steele is absent. Member Dean.
Yes.
Member Lake.
Yes, motion passes. Next, we have the recommendation to approve the 2025-2026 individual employee and contract renewals. This covers the accounts payable, accounting, Aaron Reagan, athletic trainer Phil Herman, building and grounds, maintenance, Howard Sharpley, director of video services, Sean Watson, maybe you need to leave the room, lead mechanic, Kevin Krieg, maintenance and ground support, Dave Feltner, maintenance and ground support, Nicholas Kranaus, maintenance and ground support, John Marsh, payroll assistant, Beverly Ohm, payroll manager, Gary George, pupil accounting coordinator, Julie Fitch, transportation supervisor, Holly Muckle. Be it resolved that these individuals will have their employment contracts approved by this district. Is there a motion?
So moved. Support.
Any discussion? Is this a roll call? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the recommendation to extend The CFO employment contract, administration is requesting board approval to extend the employment contract for Coldwater Community Schools Chief Financial Officer Rochelle Roby. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves a one-year extension of the employment contract by Coldwater Community Schools Chief Financial Officer Rochelle Roby effective July 1, 2025 through June 30th of 2027. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We had to think about it before we decided to give you a raise.
Okay.
That was okay.
Thanks.
Next, we have the second reading and adoption of the revised and new policies that we approved last month. This is the second one. These policies are the bylaws and policies of, we have field and other district-sponsored trips, immunizations, epinephrine, use of medications, student health and well-being, and suicide, personnel, food services, wellness, transportation for field and other district-sponsored trips, and the rescission of a policy. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves the recommendation that the Policy Advisory Committee to adopt board policy previously mentioned on the second reading as submitted. Is there a motion? I'll move it.
I did. She said, say second.
Second.
All right.
Roll call vote.
Member
Wait, do
Billsborough?
we get discussion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, discussion. Sorry.
This is the second reading of this?
Yes.
Remind me of the non-discrimination one?
So the Title IX one?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
2264, the one that was
Right. Oh, the one that we're
Was taken out.
rescinding?
Yeah.
So there were changes made towards Title IX at the federal level, or expected changes that would be made to include protections of genders and identified genders. And it was recommended to us that because that was being federally imposed, that we create new Title IX policy. And now changes at the federal level have gone backwards and have been rescinded at the level. So we've been encouraged to rescind that and go back to our previous one that we never got rid of. We just held it because the previous one would be for any complaints for Title IX prior to August, where the other one that we're looking to rescind is any complaints after August.
So we still have a non-discrimination on the books?
Absolutely.
It's just our
Yes,
previous version.
yes.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Member Billsborough?
Yes.
Member Dean?
Yes.
Member Steele is absent. Member Frederick?
Yes.
Member Holbrook?
Yes.
Member Lyon Welch?
Yes.
Member Lake?
Yes. Motion passes. Next, we have the recommendation to approve the updates to the athletic student handbook for 2025-2026 school year. Be it resolved, the Board of Education formally approves the revisions to the student athletic handbook for 2025-2026 school year as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the request to approve the transition from Edgenuity to Edmentum for online course services for CHS students. Be resolved, the Board of Education approves the proposal to transition from Edgenuity to Edmentum for all of the online course services for Coldwater High School students. Be it further resolved that the Board of Education approves the contract with Edmentum effective August 1st, 2025 through July 31st of 2028 as presented. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Can you elucidate update for the community, the increase in benefits, so.
And Dr. Hope, you'll correct me if I'm wrong in any way, shape, or form, but Edmentum, number one, is a less expensive program, but additionally, it offers SAT prep programming that the previous, or that our current program does not, and it also offers more translation services for the lessons. For example, Haitian Creole, where our current one does not offer lessons translated into Haitian Creole.
Thank you. It's a roll call vote.
Member Billsborough?
Yes.
Member Dean?
Yes.
Member Steele is absent. Member Frederick?
Yes.
Member Holbrook?
Yes.
Member Lyon Welch?
Yes.
Member Lake?
Yes, motion passes. Next, we have the recommendation to approve the proposal from Jepson Electric for the purchase of new bollard lights at the Dr. Robert W. Brown Aquatic Center. Be it resolved, the Board of Education approves the proposal from Jepson Electric in the amount of $6,320 for the purchase of new bollard lights at the Dr. Robert W. Brown Aquatic Center as presented. Is there a motion?
So move. Support.
Any discussion?
Is there $8 from the city to come up with this?
This is, we could use it from the money that's given from the city or the money that's given from the county, but we also have that separate account that we've dedicated funds to. So we could take it from any of those, but it doesn't meet, our committee talked that this isn't something that we would be going back to the Brown family and asking for a reimbursement for.
I was just speaking in general, but they have a lot of monies just for LEDs, switching LEDs out just at the city level.
Oh, you mean, well, actually,
Ratings and things.
that didn't come up. It was just the monies that they've already dedicated to maintenance of the aquatic center.
Why wouldn't it come out of the $1 million that the family was going to give us?
I mean, it can, but I mean, the city's
Are we going to be
already,
able to spend that money?
yeah, on big ticket items like replastering the pools not this summer, but the following summer.
It's not going to use it up, though.
It's gonna use a large chunk of it, and then we're looking at the heating system, the underground heating system that's never worked correctly. So we're revisiting. Thank you.
We should just cap it off.
It has been, but kind of. So we've been talking about that as well. We included some of the engineers from the city in our last meeting to revisit that.
You mean they want to try to get it working?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The board meeting minutes ran out. Well, I've got that. I just don't have the,
Oh,
it stopped with that one. That can't be.
because that's it.
It's the end.
That's the end.
Announcements and comments.
Yeah.
Planned out report.
Oh, it's hell to get old.
It's okay, we're still the oldest.
Announcements and comments. A public hearing for the 2025-2026 proposed budget is scheduled to be held on Monday, June 23rd, 2025 at 5:30, a half hour prior to the regular meeting, which is at 6 o'clock at 401 Sauk River Drive in Coldwater. The regular meeting will commence at that time on that evening. We are adjourned.